Level 1, Jesse Webb, Traders Pro. Market conditions remaining bullish in a bull market. Towards the upper end of that range, we'll talk about some of the levels here. We're sitting currently at 13.15, continuing to climb. That number I'm referencing is this number right here, 13.15, and that's also this number here. When we're looking at the long-term perspective, we just want to be able to focus on these trends. When we're above this line, we're in a bullish uptrend. When we're below it, we're in a bearish downtrend. The arrows show up here. This crossover right here is going to represent this arrow. So this current time frame, the upper chart is only a year, and the bottom chart, this one here, is 20 years. So this time frame right here is just this most recent blip in this overall uptrend. So we're continuing this overall uptrend. It creates a quick glance for you to say, are we in a bull market or are we in a bear market? You can just quickly glance and see what the overall trend direction is. Fairly obvious at this point, but it's just a nice way to be able to quickly glance. Now, the ranges, we're at the upper end of this range, and it's extreme because this 5, this is 13, and this is 5. So this area right here, I need to adjust that a little bit wider, but it gets, nonetheless, it's just above that range. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to reverse all the time from here, but we have had this run where we're starting to create this upper trend, and we have got other shorter term indicators that are focused on the current market environment. This range here, we've been talking about this swing low and this swing high. This has been our overall rally on S&P 500. These indicators here are measuring 3 different things. They're measuring sentiment, breadth, and momentum. So those are 3 of the parts of the overall market internals that we want to primarily focus on. What is the sentiment of the market? What is the breadth of the market, meaning how much participation are we getting in a rally? And then the momentum is what is price action doing? Now we know that momentum is currently in the upper ranges of this trend. The indicator here does 2 different things. This slider bar is essentially representation of this line down here. So if we see this going up into this upper range and becoming extreme up in this area, that is gonna just another visual representation of where we're at in the trend. We're at the upper end of that trend. We certainly know that, and that is for momentum. We're also seeing that on breadth right now. Breadth is a little bit more aggressively extreme at these levels based on its historical performance, and then also sentiment. Sentiment is starting to curl back down a little bit at these levels, which is not surprising. Everything is oversold, everything is, overbought and extreme at these levels. We also have additional confirmation of that with the sentiment indicator. We're back up to 84 on S&P 500. If we take a look at NASDAQ is back up above 85 now, which is that red line, and indications that the momentum to the upside is certainly slowing. If we take a look at volatility kind of bottomed out here at that top and has been trending this direction. Bonds, we've got some other things that are certainly overbought really across the board, minus oil. Crude oil has been bouncing off of this bottom level currently. And then my favorite indicator, which is the buy-sell ratio. Same story here. We can actually focus on what's the overall trend direction in the shorter time frame as well. So this time frame focused on about the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so. The market bottom happening right here when these are really wide apart, and then market tops are typically going to be happening when we get these that are also wide apart. Historically, if we draw this line across, you can see about the level that those extremes can get to. We're approaching that upper level, at least based on this time frame last year and some of these momentum moves. If I just move this in, if we go in a couple of years, let's even go 3 years and kind of get an idea of where we're at in relation to this trend. I'm just going to drag approximately this line across here. It's not going to be perfectly straight. Or hardly straight at all, but you can see the range, this upper range back down here back in 2020, the upper range here at the bottom of 2 years ago, and then we're seeing, and then some bottoming that was happening right here as well. So we're in that upper range where historically this just does not go any higher. It can't go any higher because it's a fixed number of of equities. This number represents the number of buys and sells that are in our database, and so it represents, in this case, I'm mousing over that, 3,296 in uptrends or buy signals, 604 in downtrends. So at some point that pendulum is going to swing. You can see that's just the nature of a market. It ebbs and flows, it breathes up and down, and we're at the upper range of the momentum trend currently. And so to expect much more out of this, we certainly could get a little bit more. Some of these rallies were really aggressive and popped up just a little bit higher. In fact, let's draw a line. If I can draw a straighter line across the top here, and you can see there could be, if we get a real massive blow off top, that could reach to that upper range right here. But nonetheless, that's the reward to risk is now working back towards consolidation or downside. Let's look at the overall sectors. We're certainly seeing that some movement in the overall sectors that are positive right here. Just going to refresh this. And we've got, again, everything to that upside. Once everything is in that bullish upside, momentum's moving nicely. That is a hard train to turn around. But again, it's also when it's extreme to the upside, it's hard to get new demand coming in a market like this. And due for a pause, due for a little quiet area right here. And let's take a look at some of the muscle stocks that are in here today. We've got CIFR, which is a crypto miner, and had a big nice move here in the last couple of days, 14%, $3 stock. Looks like it could have some additional momentum. It started back here, retraced, and starting to move back up. We're starting to see a little bit more interest in crypto again, or at least, and the crypto miners are really starting to move. LIAN is a medical biotech. Also, I'm going to come in here to the 6-month time frame, and we're seeing some potential momentum breakout. It's been in this really tight range, still in this upper momentum zone, really tight range here. If we can get a confirmation breakout out of that, this stock may have some legs to an overall rally. NU is also a nice looking pattern that's showing in here today. Good solid uptrend, and in that overall momentum zone on the 6-month and 1-year time frame, looking like it wants to continue as well. Some nice green across the board on fundamentals also is one of the things that we want to be able to recognize. That'll do it for today's update. If you don't have full access to the software, you can sign up with the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a fantastic day today.